Ramble.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of You Can Sit With Us. This is our third. Well, let me introduce myself. Sorry, I get really excited sometimes. My name is Maggie, and I am joined today by Mr. Matthew.
Hello.
Rainie drop on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And we have a very, very special guest today, Mr. David Dang. And we're super excited because this is our third episode in our sex series. We are going to be talking today about dating and courtship. So we have some questions queued up to kind of guide our conversation. And yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, David, what's your history with dating? Like your partner now?
How long
we
do you
love
have,
David's
Rainie?
partner
How long
too.
do you
Like, how long have I been dating? Or like how long? I guess like my history with dating in general, which is probably going to surprise people, but it was women and then men, right? Yeah, I think that's not obvious, but like,
Wow.
yes, who knew?
Who
You know, the
knew?
David you see before me is not the David 20 years ago.
yesterday.
Like,
Yeah.
so I was obviously dating women and then came out of the closet and then started dating men. But I think that you might agree with this, Matt, that people who come out of the closet are like reborn in some cases. Like they're now living their most authentic life. Well, hopefully that's like the wish, right? Is living their most authentic life. And then you kind of have to be a baby. So starting like you're like 16 again.
Yeah.
Is what I say. So you're like dating and trying to figure it out, right?
You're 30, going on 16.
Yeah, you're right. 30, how dare you? Going on 16. But so I've been dating men since, and then had probably like three longer relationships with men.
Okay.
And then the few in between that. And the few in between that would probably range from like 1 month to like 8 months max.
Oh, 8 months you wouldn't count as a serious.
No, because Matt, actually, that's how Matt and I, well, Matt in some cases, like I was dating people at long distances. So it'd be like seeing them in the frequencies of like once a month, twice a month. So that's like the 8 months out of that, would probably be it. Yeah. So that's the history.
When did you come out?
I came out when I was 26.
Okay.
25, 26. And that was, I think people have heard this before, but that was the life-altering experience of me becoming a cosmetologist. Like it really rebranded my whole entire person in general. So that's why I said like the person you saw, the person you saw before that was different. Like my body language, my vernacular.
Was
like,
your hair different?
Absolutely different. It was not like this. So it's like the whole entire transformation, like Sailor Moon, you know, like Sailor Mercury.
You were a little butterfly.
And you just that's what it was.
Okay. So how many did you have girlfriends?
So I had a long-term girlfriend. I would say longer-term girlfriend. Right before I came out. Yes. And so her and I met in college. But I have to also like parlay this into, I was extreme Catholic. So I felt I was brainwashed. So I'm not saying Catholicism is brainwashing, but my own personal experience, I feel that I was brainwashed.
Where there was like a lot of guilt that you had to kind of navigate.
Well, and then I also went to military school. Yeah. So there was like layers of breaking down walls. And then I think my parents were just doing what they, they're protective, but at the same time, they were just trying to build the mental fortress. So I really didn't even know what a blowjob was until I think the first year of college.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't even know what fellatio was. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember I was in ninth grade, didn't know anybody because I went to military school straight to
really did
I feel
not.
like
straight
they
to
would
high
talk
school.
about that.
In military school.
No. In military school, they just showed us
kids?
like, here's...
No, not like the teachers, like the kids to each
Or
other.
like-
No, we
locker
didn't. I
room,
think because we were,
quote, unquote.
it's an all boys school. Who would have thought, right? It's an all boys school, and it was military, so we didn't have time to think about things. It was like we get there, we have drills. You're like going to school. In between school is like you have recess, like 15, 30-minute recess. You have your lunch, but it's like you're in your company. That's what they call their groups. So it's like you're in your company, but your company consists of like maybe a range from first grade to eighth grade. Wow. So it's a range of people. You're never with your classmates. So you really have not a lot of time to like collaborate and partner. It's very military.
Is this
Wow.
why you like boot camp fitness classes so much?
Actually,
You like the structure.
that's probably it. I'm like, just tell me what to do. I can do it.
It's nostalgic for you.
But yeah, like, I didn't know what that was. But the first day of high school, I remember this because it's like so vivid. I was in high school and I was in math class and I didn't know anybody. So I was terrified. And I just did band camp, right? And so I know some people, but you just don't eat with them at lunch tables.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just like, okay. And so I was sitting there in math class and then the guy turns around. He's like, do you spit or do you swallow?
And you're like,
And
what?
of course, I'm like, well, I think I swallow. I think everybody swallows.
Like, food is good. Why would you spit out
So
food?
innocent.
It was only like 5 years later that I understood what spit and swallow was. But like, obviously, you're just like, yeah, I just swallow.
Yeah. Sweet David.
Maggie, what are you actually? I don't know your guys' history. I was just realizing.
Well, Maggie and I have been together for
Yeah. We are actually a very beautiful couple.
Yeah.
Actually.
You dated someone in high school. I feel like I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Maggie's OC too.
I know. Yeah, I had my first kiss at the Long Beach Town Center after a movie.
What a shift. Anybody
Yeah.
from the LBC,
Yeah.
you know what that was back in the day.
Yeah. Wow. That's where the magic happened. The ages of like 14 to 18 is
Yeah.
kind of a blur to me.
Yeah.
We
It was
were
like-
just,
yeah.
we were
Didn't
just
happen,
trying to
didn't
survive. I think all of us were just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel
Yeah.
like I kind of touched on it in other episodes, but
Did you dated in college? Because you
Oh,
met
yeah.
Zach when you were like how old?
I met Zach when I was 26.
Oh.
Wow, it's like
There.
that lucky
Right
number.
there. I remember that too.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation. We'll save that for later, but I remember that conversation.
Exactly.
It was like the week
before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Zach
his
started
hair or
doing-
something. Yeah.
David started doing Zach's hair like probably the week before we met. So
And then
David-
like 2 weeks later, he's like,
You're
I
like-
met someone. I was like, it's at a
David-
gay bar? And he was like, yes. I was like, I knew it.
so David is the
My
like the reason we can
gosh.
thank for
Yeah.
setting us up.
How many boyfriends did you have before Zach?
I probably had like 2 longer relationships, but I dated. I was on apps in between
You were on
all
the
that.
apps.
I was on the apps.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were on apps.
Yeah, I was in between like Zach and my previous long-term like high school boyfriend.
For the listeners, they're rehearsing Romeo and Juliet outside.
You know, it's kind
So-
of loud.
They're killing each other.
Matt, what about you? How many people did you date before Eugene?
like 30
Tons.
million, you know?
You 30 million,
Tons.
same. Me too.
we swab them
No,
all
I
the
have
time.
like 3 maybe long-term relationships
Yeah.
before Eugene.
Yeah. How old were you when you met Eugene?
26.
26, the number.
Negative years old.
You're negative 0.
Yeah, I bet.
But
mean,
Matt
it was
never
12
dated.
years ago,
Did you?
you know?
You didn't date women. You were
No.
repulsed.
No,
By
I
us.
never really dated women.
No,
Like a tiny bit in high school, but not really.
I'm just kidding. I'm just.
Can you just imagine Matt dating women? I mean, can you
you
imagine?
imagine
Can you just
David?
imagine Matt dating women though? It's so cute. He's like BFFs. Like, yeah, I'm gonna cook you Italian food.
It's hard. I just like it's so hard to remember because Eugene and I started dating like 12 years ago. you
Oh
know?
yeah. So it's sort of
It's
like
a different
past
decade.
life.
Yeah,
Different
Life.
decade.
different
would-
decade.
Dude,
decade.
different town. Different town, different decade.
Were
As
dating
in-
apps even a thing then, or was it just like
Oh, there were
Like-
apps, girl.
Match.com?
They're like starting
Binder.
up the most. Yeah. Yeah.
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Oh my God,
Missed
Craig's.
connections.
I didn't know what
Yeah.
Craigslist personals were either. Like what? I didn't know
Oh.
those were the thing. Did you know?
No, what's that?
That was the part of the Craigslist
That was like
killer.
missed connections and
Oh.
stuff.
Yeah, where you can
Like searching
post
for.
post your profile, and this is when people actually had to write, like
Mm-hmm.
where or type in this case, but
No
type like a
photos?
blog about yourself, like 30-year-old looking for good-looking women, good-looking man, in the age range of this.
Yeah.
Sounds like sugardaddy.com,
Yeah,
really,
it
but like,
does.
Serial killer's dream.
I don't think
Just go
I've ever
find them.
known you without a relationship. I think
we don't
may-
have single.
maybe like a brief break, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Were you? So you were sort of like a? Would you consider yourself a serial monogamist?
To an extent, I feel like.
And
David.
David knew Matt
Ding, ding,
before
ding.
Ding,
Yeah,
ding,
to an
ding.
extent. He
you
totally
guys knew
is.
each other before you and Eugene got together, right?
Yeah.
So you know old Matt.
Yeah.
Give us the
Well, I
tea.
asked him for
Yeah.
dating advice at times. So I've seen him through his like single to relationship to single to relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. For me, I am not. I think Hector right now is probably going to be the longest relationship I've had.
Yeah.
But
We love him.
I know. Thank you so much. He listens to this, so that's going to mean a lot to him.
Big fan.
He's so cute.
fan.
I love him. But I am not because my job.
Oh yeah.
And this is part of the crying thing we talked about in previous episodes, where I would like cry to Matt, going like, "Why can't I just find a relationship?" It's because I was never targeted in one place. I was never stagnant. I just literally kept traveling for my work.
Yeah.
So I definitely had flings in different states.
You want somebody in each state.
Yeah, I mean, you want somebody to hang
Close in each area.
out with, like,
Yeah.
but I'm like a fun-go-lucky guy, as everyone knows. Like, I
Yeah.
can talk to people, I can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But to hold down a relationship, it's tough because you want to actually be consistent.
Yeah.
So those long-distance relationships taught me that long distance is the wrong distance in my case. I know a lot of people have worked it out. I know
Yeah.
Nicholas Sparks has written a lot of books.
Nicholas
Yeah,
Sparks,
he's
the homie.
written a lot of books. So don't hate me, but like, yes.
Yeah.
But for me,
Yeah.
I thought it was the right distance at the time. But in hindsight,
Yeah.
I look like those that built me to give me the non-negotiables that you're like, I just can't.
So what would your advice be to your former single self?
Yeah.
I mean, I would not do anything different. I would still hoe around. I would still date as much as possible because
Yeah.
I think you see, everybody sees this on TikTok now, but I just saw one yesterday that was this woman and she wrote here, like she had some melancholy music in the back, was like, here I am blowing out my candles when I was 30, single, like doing drugs, drinking or whatever. And then she blows out the candle and it's her life now at 34. She's like found the right one, waited for the right one, like all that stuff, right? You hear all these like life changes, but I would honestly, I before I tell you the advice, I used to volunteer at an old folks home. And when I did that, I asked everybody, because I read it somewhere that they asked them about a certain age, right? So I think like 20, 21. So I said, what advice would you give me at this part of my life? You know, if you look back at 2021.
Yeah.
And everybody resoundingly said, don't get married. Yeah, don't get married was the first.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. Travel as much as possible. And then brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth. Floss, right? So my advice would be the same. Just continue to like date as much as possible. And if it's not worth it, don't do it. Like,
Yeah.
That was one of the questions. Jumping to that, how do you know when to break up with someone? Like, how do you know when it's not
oh,
worth
that's like,
it?
that's
David,
tough.
how do you break up with someone?
I mean, that should be you.
Were you a heartbreaker? I bet.
He is a heartbreaker.
Heartstopper.
I think there's no, oh my gosh, it's such a good show, guys. I don't think that there's any right way to break up with somebody. I think this was on our podcast last time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right way to break up with somebody, but if you see yellow flags, I think there's like a lot of antennas going off.
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
I think we can agree with this. Like, if there's yellow flags, for sure. If there's red flags, like run.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we just stay at yellow for too long that when
Yeah.
it gets to red, we can't see red
Yeah.
anymore because you're just so used to it. But here's the thing, like human beings long to be loved. And that's a tough thing. You know, like even if you make up what love is in your mind, like, and people's temperatures and levels of love are so different.
Love's love.
Right. I mean,
Right.
but your love is probably for Eugene is different from my love to Hector, right? So and yours for Zach. So it's like so different. So when to answer your question, to break up with somebody, it's tough.
Yeah.
So it's like, I always say like pros and cons.
Yeah.
And if there's a lot of cons, you're like he snores, or I mean that's me. But like if he snores, or like, but sometimes people
This is
are
Hector's
light
list about
sleepers,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone has like different non-negotiables, and something that
Yeah.
works for a certain relationship doesn't necessarily work for others. And
Yeah.
And that's so true. But we're always gonna, in our young years, when we are freshly dating, because I don't think anybody ever tells you, which is why I love this podcast topic, is like no one ever tells you what the right thing is, right? So to break up with somebody, it's kind of like you go with your gut feeling, but the pros and cons are probably the best, because if you write it down, you are literally writing yourself the note.
Yeah.
No one's writing it for you. You're writing it, and if there's like 10 cons to 1 pro, like it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I would
Write
say
that post.
like rely heavily on your gut and like the yellow and red flags, because if you've already kind of made up your mind, it's so hard. Like if you're recognizing them, it's so hard to untrain that in your mind. You're like, if you're noticing something that's like a non-negotiable, it's so hard to train your brain to accept it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Depending on what the thing is, it can't be something so small, but if it's like a big thing to you, like those feelings never really go away if it's a big one.
Yeah.
So don't try and trick
Because it's
yourself.
like constant.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's zoned in like a fly. It's like, oh God.
And you're just
Yeah.
focus on it, and it'll drive you crazy.
Maggie, what would be your advice to your single self?
There was someone I was with for far too long that was like super manipulative and controlling and like toxic. And like
Yikes.
my parents, luckily, they were like very like, I'm just gonna let her figure it out. Like I know she's like a little.
Oh, so they saw it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And like the patience on both of them to just kind of sit back and was like, this is her battle. Like she can figure it out.
Yeah. Do you talk about it with them now?
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, we really didn't like that
you remember
relationship that
him?
you were in for so long. But I would tell myself like, just, why did you stay in that for so long? You didn't have to.
But I also think, don't you
But
think?
it also taught me a lot
Yeah.
about myself and about what I
you're-
was willing and not willing to put up with.
But being young too, I think if we agree, or I'm asking this to the group, like we're so prone to giving chances.
Yeah.
But like, and we go beyond second.
Because you don't know
Sometimes, like,
better. Or you're,
Yeah.
Oh, she'll change. He'll change. Like, I can do it.
Well, I feel like also you don't know how wrong it is until you feel how right it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I see so many friends get into relationships and they're already like fighting
Yeah.
like the first week, and it's like
It shouldn't be this
the
hard.
beginning should be
It
so easy.
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
The beginning should be so easy. So if you're already struggling and fighting and like having issues like week 1, month 1, then it's just like that's a bad sign.
It's so sad.
It's a really
And
bad
like
sign.
not fighting is not like a realistic expectation to have within your relationship, but you should also strive to make sure that your foundation is strong enough so when those things do come up, and they will, like life is really long and like things will come and go throughout your life. There'll be different stressors and like different life stages that will be thrown at you, and just cultivating your foundation is like the most important, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you will fight.
Yeah.
That is
That's inevitable.
inevitable.
Yeah, because you're two different people. Like that's supposed to happen. Because if you're the same person, you're dating yourself. It's kind of boring, right? You don't want to date
Boyfriend
yourself.
twin.
Yeah.
I think people also make that mistake too. Like they always go like, I'm going to find someone just like me.
Yeah.
And you're like, do you really want to date yourself? Like it's kind of boring.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is I'm like, if I were dating myself, I would still fight with them. I feel like I'd be like, why did you leave the dishes out? You know, like what the fuck? Matt, did you feel like Eugene was different? Like, were you like, oh, this is easier. This is right.
Yeah.
Or how was he different?
He just wouldn't leave me alone.
he was in.
Aww.
Dad,
Can we get that? I'm going to get that on a
Adorable.
shirt for you. He just won't leave me alone.
He wouldn't leave me alone. No, it was crazy because I was not looking for anything, and I had just fallen off my Vespa.
Oh my God. I remember that.
I was like stung by a bee, and it made me fall off my
Flinch?
Vespa. Flinch, and I fell. So I had like
my
my like
gosh.
knee was all messed up, and I had like huge like road rash on my arm and stuff. And so I went
Just war wounds. Yeah.
like all banged up.
Wow.
You know?
It kind of
He's
Eugene. It's probably
probably
hotter.
like, yeah,
this
he's
is
like,
And then the
hot.
next
he's
day,
injured.
and then after our first date, the next day, he's like, "Can we hang out? I'll bring you blah 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 blah. 'cause
bring
I know
you
you're
soup.
sick." Well, you know. Yeah.
Bring you some lotion.
Some lotion.
So it's just, someone who's like trying to make things easier for you. You know,
That's
rather
the
than
thing,
difficult
yeah.
for you, more difficult for you.
Why were you like not looking for something?
Because a couple months earlier, I had just gotten out of a bad relationship.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I was like not
Ready to open yourself up to.
No, I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah.
So did he
Just trying to have
ask?
fun.
Because you met him at the gym, right?
Yeah.
And did he ask you out?
Well, I talked to him first, then he asked me out.
David.
Do you remember what your first conversation was about? Like, hey, are you using these dumbbells?
Yeah.
Hey. And it was
No.
a crunch, right?
Yeah, crunch, fatness.
Wait, is that the crunch by the AMC?
Yeah,
Oh, hey.
crunch, fatness.
It's like anybody,
Yeah.
shout out to WeHo, that WeHo crunch.
We went and saw, our first date was we went and saw Fargo. No.
Wow.
What was the movie? Argo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fargo.
I was like, Fargo.
Wow.
I'm like, that's not
Different
right.
movies.
Argo.
2 different movies.
Yeah. We went and saw Argo,
I
which is a
do
really
remember
great
that.
first.
I was like,
date movie.
why? But then knowing Eugene is cinematic lover
Yeah.
made sense. I was like, oh, okay.
Low stakes. You don't have to talk too much.
I do. Yeah. I do remember you telling me about him though. Like, it was fun. Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, this
Oh.
one's sticking. Because you had dated a few people like after your relationship before him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And I was just like, he's having so much fun dating. Yeah. And then I remember you talking about him. It's good.
Yeah, it was different. It was
Yeah. Because you know, like you happy for your friends when a shift happens.
Yeah.
So when a
Yeah.
shift
Seismic
happens,
shift.
you're like, oh.
You seem more like
Yeah, they're
yourself.
like, yes. It's crazy, right? I mean, I'm only
Interesting.
noticing that. I mean, hearing it in my voice now, but I see it all the time. You're like, wow. When you see the soulmates like unite, that's like the best, you guys. When you see soulmates touch, you're like, oh, this is it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw it for you. I saw it for you. You know, like you just see it. You're like,
Do you see it for yourself, David?
I mean, I wanted to see it for Becky and Keith, but obviously it's prior to me. But like, yeah. But stuff like that.
Do you guys believe in soulmates?
I think that I used to believe in soulmates, right? But I think the definition for me has changed or shifted into like heartmates, right? So it's like the hearts are completing
so
each other,
cute.
right? Like they're beating in sync in that way. I think soulmates for me, because it's from like a religious standpoint, it's like a little bit more intense. But with heartmate, for me, it's like, again, like your hearts are beating in sync, your minds are beating in sync, and your energy is like flowing together.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Energized.
What about you, Matt?
I don't know if I believe in soulmates. I feel like probably multiple people could make you happy, you know, but you probably won't meet all those people based on like how you navigate your life, right?
Yeah. Some people probably meet 2 soulmates and then they're like, what do I
But
do?
I mean, your best friends could be your soulmates too, right? Or your heartmates. Like,
yeah.
I like my
Yeah.
cousin. My cousin Michelle. Like, I love her so much.
Yeah.
I think she's like my heartmate. You know.
Yeah. Where you just like get on the phone and you're like, wow, like I really just respect and love you. And like, this is great.
Wouldn't it just be easy if our best friends were like our partners? You know, like you're just like, this is so easy. Why can't it just be like this?
Yeah.
But then it is.
But then it is.
Then it is.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about soulmates?
I kind of feel similar.
Yeah.
Like I am super like in love and like I'm so happy to be in my relationship, but I think that there are, I don't know, I've just seen people in my family whose spouses have passed away and have thankfully have been able to process it and now are remarried and they're so happy.
Yeah.
So I think that to close yourself off
Interesting.
only
Yeah.
sets you up for more despair when you have so much, like I feel like individuals have so much love to give in different ways. It could be through friendship, through marriage, through different sorts of relationships that you'll have throughout your life, I think.
Yeah. No, that's a really beautiful point. I've never really, I haven't heard that before, but it is, I think that's true.
There's a good movie about that. It's, I think, David Duchovny and Minnie Driver. Have you heard it? It's Return to Me. And it's, I mean, this isn't going to ruin it for anybody, but the premise is that I think David Duchovny loses a wife and she's an organ donor.
Oh, okay.
And the donation of the organ is into Minnie Driver.
Oh.
And they find each other and they're like friends or something, or like they like find each other on the streets.
Wow.
And they
Is
end
this a
up-
kidney, I'm guessing?
It's something like that.
Okay.
It's some organ.
It's probably her
Right?
heart.
Yeah, it's probably heart. Who knows?
Oh.
But like they end up finding each other and they're like, why? I think I feel like I know you. Like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's you have to watch it. It's an older movie, but it's so good. If the 90s are back, that's a movie you want to watch. Yeah.
What do you think if your pet doesn't like the person you're dating? Do you think your pet
Is that a red flag?
has psychic abilities?
Well,
and they can,
Bowie's
like,
really
tell-
smart. Bowie's so smart. Bowie doesn't. I don't think Bowie's not like.
I feel like
many
you got him
people.
after you guys were together.
That's
though.
true.
Yeah.
But if Bowie didn't like someone, I would listen.
Okay, so my
shit.
dog really liked this guy, and it was weird because my dog doesn't usually care about
Other people.
And then he just ended up being
Rainie.
like kind of like. Ugh.
No.
So now I'm just like Wookiee has bad taste.
Oh no!
Even though he's like a chill, like I love Wookiee, but
Yeah.
I don't know. So now I don't know. But you trust Bowie. I feel like is sort of sensitive boy.
He is. He's super emotional. Like when I like am super frantic and he's behind me on a walk and I'm like going somewhere, I'm like going to my mom's house, I'm late. He like senses it.
Yeah.
He's very emotionally sensitive.
So here she is, late again.
I know. She's,
Emotional intelligence.
Here she is.
yeah. Yesterday I was taking him into the vet and like I was nervous that I was taking him to the vet and like how he was gonna do, and he's like, why are you acting like this? And I was like, okay,
Oh
I have
my
to trick
God, I
him. I
could
have to
see
trick
him.
him. That
we're
it's all
chill.
good. It's all chill.
Yeah. I mean,
Your dogs are cray. Like they love everybody.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would
They
be good
love
indicators.
they just don't touch
They wouldn't be good
me.
indicators.
Touch me.
One time there was a man who grabbed my sister's butt while Bowie was with her on a walk, and Bowie like let her know before it happened because the guy like came and like just squeezed. She was in line for a coffee shop, and Bowie was like,
Whoa.
but I feel like your dogs would be like, hi, want to
Yeah.
play? You want to be friends?
You want to touch
They
me?
wouldn't be- they
and
wouldn't
they
be good
argue with
indicators.
each other too. They're like, yeah, me first. You know, like
Like, because
not
Eugene
gone.
already had Emma before we started dating.
Oh,
So can you
Emma's
imagine
just-
Emma being mean?
No,
poor girl.
no.
But you've lived with animals, so like, do you think that animals have that ability?
I mean, and not my animals. But I think maybe some might. I feel like especially if there's like a really bonded like owner and pet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
true.
know?
They'll sense it.
Then
Yeah.
that would be like a little different. Yeah.
I've never grown up with animals.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated people with animals. I think that children and animals gravitate towards good energy,
That's true.
right? So that's always a good indicator.
Yeah.
I know a lot of children, and I've taken care of a lot of children. So I'll just replace pet with child,
Yeah.
and then they'll be able to sense.
Yeah.
They're like, no, no,
If they like you or not.
yeah,
Yeah.
no. They're kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to touch you. Yeah, I would think that.
Yeah. So how much do you think physical attraction matters? And if there's somebody who's like good on paper, you have good conversations with, and it's like fun to hang out with, but you're not super attracted to them, do you think that's like, marry your best friend, like it's fine, sex isn't like, or sexual attraction isn't the most important thing, or do you think it actually matters?
I feel like it's okay to not be attracted to someone when
Yeah.
you meet them for the very first time. Like to me, that doesn't really come
Yeah.
like immediate. Like I have a
Yeah.
lot of friends who are like, I look at that person and I just want to tear all their clothes off. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm different. I feel like I'm built differently. Like I really gotta peel back that skull and like look in your brain.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, yes. And I mean, given your, I guess, background, yeah, for sure, I would do the same.
Yeah.
At this stage of my life, if somebody can make me laugh, that's like probably the most attractive thing.
Oh yeah.
If I can continuously have a conversation with you because I'm a talker and they can, they can keep up, then for sure.
They can
Yeah.
keep up with me.
Like, oh my God, you know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Or-
what Hector
yeah.
was. Like
Yeah.
on our first date, we didn't stop talking. And I've never had that. Like there was no breaks and no breath in between. It was like, you know that? You know
Breathless.
that movie? Like how crazy. Like, you know that reference? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I would tell people all the time, like I reference a lot of different things, but he was like really catching everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah. Or I guess, yeah, okay. So if there's to the, 1B or whatever, if there's somebody who's like checks all your boxes, quote unquote, but it still doesn't feel right. So it's like you're like, they're smart, they're funny, they're like, but it still doesn't feel right. Do you think that's like a personal issue to work through, or do you think it's just like move on, onwards and upwards?
I feel like I would move on.
Yeah, I
would
would
do
move
that.
on.
I would
That's
move
saying
on.
that they're
Yeah.
not gonna
There's
work.
something.
It isn't.
There's something there.
No matter, it's like, what is it? Square in a box.
But I
you're
mean,
trying to
this is
fit it.
like,
Yeah.
what is
So
that
much.
show, Love is Blind? That's like what that is. It's like
it basically
you're
is.
basically peeling back into their brain and not seeing them at all.
That would be
see
great for
them,
you.
and then you're like,
you obviously love that show, right?
do I actually like this person or not?
I've only
You know?
watched like the first season, I think.
But you like it because it's like kind of your dating style, isn't it?
I guess, yeah. I have to get to know someone's brain and their heart. I know that sounds like so corny, but
I mean, that's what Love Island Blind is.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you get to see them afterward.
Well, is that your style though? Like, I don't think that was your style.
For me, it's all about balance.
What do you mean?
Right? So you have to be attracted to them. You have to be able to like get along with them. You know what I mean? It's not like ticking boxes, but it's more about the whole package, the balance of everything. Right?
Yeah.
Like one can't kind of like outweigh the other. Otherwise it's not going to work.
It's
No,
a
but
tough
that's a
balance.
really tough question. That's a really great
And
question.
there's so many different circumstances that go into like every situationship.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It's really
Yeah.
hard, but I feel like you should trust your gut. I feel like your gut never really lies.
But sometimes people, okay, this might be controversial, but I feel like sometimes people's guts are not trained well. You know, like they're
underdeveloped.
just right. I mean, they just kind of see like let's say you go into a room of 100 people and you're always attracted to the same person. So their gut at that point is just like, I'm gonna go with the same person I always go with, you know?
Yeah.
But there's like out of 99, they're all the same, and the one person that's like, hey, I'm your husband over here and I'm actually going to provide for you and like give you all the things you need. Like, oh no.
Well, that's just falling
Yeah,
into
you know,
like,
Yeah.
it's like repeating behaviors.
But I guess you
that's
learn
like gut
from that.
too.
Like
Yeah.
once that you learn, like you identify that about yourself and you're like, something's not working. That is coming from that, you learn, it's much more of powerful of a lesson to you learning from your own trial and error.
No, I think that's
That's
And
why
you
you
don't
gotta
have-
date. You have to date.
Yeah.
Gotta do the same thing
You
over
can't.
and over.
I'm not saying you can't because people find their heartmate or soulmates at like 14 when they're in high school, and I love that. Like I wish that was me because then it would just make up the pain like of dating like hasta la bye bye, right? Like no more. But like it's like a gut is really like a muscle. Like you got to work on it because if you're literally going to the same thing over and over again, you're not going to be able to find the person that you want to be with. And then maybe you're not ready.
Yeah.
how
And it's
many-
okay to take breaks. Sometimes
Yeah.
How many first dates have you been on?
many. Many.
If you had
Too
to
many.
guesstimate a number, 100, 200,
Just say it,
No,
Maggie.
not
Just say it.
300. No.
Higher?
No, I don't know. Too many.
200.
Not
I'm guessing
200.
it's 200 for you. David, how many first dates have you been on? Are you 500?
I'm probably like the 400 range.
Oh my
That
God.
sounds weird,
expensive.
guys, but like I was
That sounds weird,
Yeah, but
guys.
I was single for a while and traveling.
That's true.
So it's like I did like 3 dates in one like day sometimes.
3 dates?
Yeah, because you're like coffee, maybe
Drinks.
like
I've never
drinks,
done that.
Dinner. I've never done
and then
that.
I'll go like,
Mine's
oh,
probably like 100 something.
Yeah.
I feel like you're more, but you've been in more relationships,
Yeah.
like for
I said
longer.
first dates.
I know, but like that's what I'm saying. I've been on a lot of first dates. I love first dates.
You do?
I love it because
What do you love about that?
I love it because like it's like new, so you can
I
ask
love it, but
anything.
when
you
I was
want.
in it, I was like, can I be
It
done with
is.
this? But
Yeah.
now when we go to restaurants, we'll sit down. I'll be with his friends or with Zach. I'm like, I think those people.
Yeah,
We'll
But
try and
I
listen.
mean, because I know I love it because I know that I'll one day look back that I'll never have a first date again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I love it so much because I love meeting people. That's my
Yeah.
job. So
Mm-hmm.
I love meeting people, but I just like that's how I shaped my non-negotiables because I was like, oh, I don't like that person or this
Person's
is tough.
breath smells so bad.
Been there
This
multiple
person
times.
has
I'm like,
too many.
woof. You know, like
That's what
yeah.
Johnny said about
Yeah.
dating like hot people in LA. Remember his thing?
Yeah.
We asked
Who
him,
said this?
Johnny Cakes.
Johnny Cakes. We were like, what was something about LA that surprised you? I think the question was. And he's like, hot people's breaths smell.
They do. They really do. It's kind of weird, but they do.
You need like
Yeah.
a Listerine tab.
You need to just
So, Rainie,
make
how
sure
many
you're
first dates
checking
have
up
you
on
been
your immunity system. Like something's happening. You're in the medical field. What gastric shit is happening?
It's probably
to
just
you?
like not flossing. There's like literally
or bad diet. Like
no, it's just
Drink your
like
green juice.
it's just bacteria. Good bacteria, bad bacteria, all bacteria. Mouth.
Maybe pheromones.
Maybe it's pheromone.
I don't know.
Maybe dick sucking.
Well, David, when you're on 3 days today,
Brush your
your
teeth.
teeth probably would smell bad.
Just kidding.
Oh my God.
No, Matt, I think I've been on probably 20.
In the last month?
Ever. But I am sort of like, okay, is this what it's going to take to be to get to have a partner? Do I have to do 100 or something? Because I'm like, oh.
But people have done speed dating.
That's
kind of the
true.
same thing. So if you ask somebody who's speed dated, they probably their ratios are even higher, or their numbers are even higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just sort of have to. Yeah. No, I think that is.
So
I got it on my way.
You're on your way. You don't have to quantify anything, Rainie.
As a Gen Z person,
Oh yeah.
when you look at how millennial dating is different from Gen Z,
Yeah.
like what are the differences that you see?
Oh. If I think about my older sister and younger sister, I feel like, to me, and I might be wrong on this, but I feel like millennial is a little bit more formal and Gen Z is kind of more fluid. But I'm not sure if that's
Fluid,
accurate.
is this a date?
Yeah, exactly. And are we dating? Are we hanging out? One of the questions is, how do you guys feel about somebody who's really averse to labels?
I feel
It's
like that's
I don't
fine
wanna-
for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
I
about
did read
how
that,
until there's one question that's we've been dating for 9 months. He doesn't want to call me, he doesn't want labels, but he introduced me as his girlfriend to be polite.
What? That's like mind games.
Yeah.
But if you're introducing your girlfriend to be polite, what would the circumstances be? It must be important people that you're saying this is my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
But then not acknowledging it, that's strange.
Yeah.
That's confused.
I feel like that warrants a direct conversation on hey,
What
You're
are you
confused.
talking
Well,
about?
but there's a gateway access there at that point because you've already called me your girlfriend. So hey, I just want to confirm with you.
Yeah.
You know, am I? Because you're not treating me like one.
Have you guys been in situationships like that where it's just I don't know what this is. He's not ready for a relationship, but I really like him.
Zach never addressed anything when we were dating. So I had to be hey, are we dating?
You DTR'd
What
with Zach?
I
month
did.
was that?
What month? I think month 4
That's
or something.
appropriate.
And I was
That's definitely
are we
appropriate.
dating? Are we dating other people? And still talking? And he was oh, I just assumed we were boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's what you said.
Cutie. He
Yeah.
did.
And
He
now
was you
he's,
think I'm still dating other people? I was well, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
But
you're I am. So,
but it also warrants a conversation. To your point,
I was just,
it
I
warrants
just want
a
to make
conversation.
sure. But it was so funny because he was oh, I just assumed.
But so I feel the dear reader. I also
Yeah.
feel that person or persons doesn't mind it. Because if you're at 9 months, right?
Yeah.
You're kind of I really don't care. I'm kind of going with the flow.
Yeah.
No shame.
Right.
But if that's your thing, you're yeah, I kind of have a boyfriend. Who knows? I would also get an STD check, ASAP.
Oh, that's good advice.
Because if it's if you're not really knowing that
Yeah.
you're exclusive, and again, there's nothing wrong with open relationships or exclusivity. It's just
Right.
I would get an STD check.
Yeah. What
yeah. Honestly, that's good.
Especially with the fluidity.
The fluidity.
Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's good to have kind of little things that you're checking off to keep everyone safe.
Honestly, I know that's not a question, but you guys, please do a screening every 3 months, if anything. And if
Yeah.
you're identifying as someone who is fluid, please, definitely.
Matt, how did you DTR with Eugene?
it was very official.
It was a contract.
It was a contract. No,
Well, it was who brought it up?
Eugene did.
Eugene did.
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of down bad for you. It sounds like.
Someone told you.
I told you he liked me.
And he's we've been dating for a couple months. When are we going to be official? You know?
Aw.
And what did you say?
I said, yes. Yes to the dress.
I feel you already knew, but you just didn't say anything.
Yeah.
It's it's here, that's what I'm doing.
Self-assured.
Exactly. Good to know.
Yeah.
But also, that was Eugene's first relationship, so I'm really excited that he had that conversation.
Yeah.
Because normally in your
Yeah.
first relationships, you don't know. You're just even at any age, you're like kind of navigating, right? You're like,
Right.
I guess
What's
this
the
is
right thing
Yeah.
to do?
My first relationship, somebody was like, you have to DTR with him. Like, you have to, like, it was just this random person who sat next to me in the dating hall. So I did. And then it fell apart right after that.
And he's like, no, bye.
And how many
he
months
said
was that?
yes, but it was like, I don't know, like probably 2 or 3.
Okay.
But
Respectable.
no, he was just a bad guy, honestly. I think it was just, but
He said, wait, you said he said yes and then it fell apart?
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then I think he said, I think it was like, yeah, we weren't
Rainie.
ready to be boyfriend and girlfriend. And I was like, okay, I don't.
But was it shame to say no? Or like,
You didn't want to hurt your feelings?
He was like, I remember I was on the T, like at the subway. And I was like, oh, like, do you want to talk about what we are? And he was like, do you? And I was like, we don't have to. And then he was like, I mean, yeah, we could. And then it just,
I love you so much.
I know.
I mean, it was brutal.
You
But
guys, aren't we on this expedition to find her partner? I thought we were, right?
Yeah, I get Rainie on Raya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Rainie on Raya. That was like months ago that we
I
filmed
can't
the last
believe
podcast.
I'm sort
It's
of
been a
like,
year.
I think I applied at just the wrong time or something. I needed to build up my references before I applied. Yes. But whatever.
I hear it's not all cracked out, right?
Yeah.
Rainie, we got to
Well,
figure
now
out.
it's
we gotta
like it's
figure out.
old
we gotta figure out
now.
something
It's like
else.
old news, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because it's been around for a while. You would think, okay, so I guess I might be wrong with this, but you would think that after
Rainie,
COVID,
we gotta get you on
lot
a
of people
pickleball
would be more
court.
compassionate about dating.
We got to
That's
get
the
Rainie on a
answer.
pickleball court.
Hashtag get Rainie
It's the
on pickleball.
hot. I mean, it's
would
not
think
new,
that.
but it's like the hot new thing.
Yeah.
More apps.
I actually do. I know somebody who met her boyfriend at a badminton team.
There you go.
There we go.
There's beach
More
tennis. We got to get you on a
appetizers
beach
for the
tennis team.
Tennis. Some
Yeah.
racket sports.
Yeah, we got to get you some organized sports. You know,
Yeah.
play some games, go somewhere else.
So I have some quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Is it okay to have sex on the first date?
I love that you look at me.
If you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's positive
Yeah.
to have sex on the first date.
Do you think you have to have sex on the first date?
Oh, if it's have to, no.
No.
Because if you, and
Do you
actually,
think you have to at least kiss on the first date? To get a second date? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Would you
Nah.
marry? Okay. Would
These
you
are fire
marry? Would
questions,
you
okay.
marry someone without living with them?
No.
No.
Absolutely
No.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
I have a
lit on
couple
fire.
friends who didn't live with their husbands and significant others until they got married, and it's going fine for them, but I feel like there was so much groundwork that not needed to be covered, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot of change at once, I feel.
Yeah.
Clarifying question. So like, what happens if they are in their own apartment, you're in your own apartment, not living together, but you've spent so much time at each other's house?
That's
Is
true.
that technically living together?
I feel like no.
No, because you're not sharing the space. You're
You're not
still,
sharing the
You have a
space.
timeline, got
in
it.
the other person's space.
And a lot of the times, like at least my living situations with roommates, like having roommates there, it was almost like hanging out with friends. You don't really have like a lot of downtime. It's just like the communal spaces were like hangout zones.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I feel like that changes the dynamic that you have with your partner
that's true.
in living together, quote unquote.
Do you believe in right person, wrong time?
Yes.
Really?
Oh
Yes.
100%.
I always get so frustrated. I'm like, that is more heartbreaking than just like, oh, they're trash.
Timing is huge. Think of who
Yeah.
you were when you were 12.
Yeah. That's
I
true.
think it was
Think
12.
of Zach, who Zach was at 12.
2 years
you
ago.
think?
Do you think that we would have hit it off and like gotten married at 12?
I
What
mean,
do you
some
think-
people still
yeah.
are.
Yeah. What do you think your interactions would be like with your partners if you met or if you like were in class with them? Like, do you think
I think I would have, I don't know,
would you been annoyed with him?
Probably.
probably.
Yeah, I would be.
Probably.
Probably. Yeah.
But I also feel like people are gonna I've had people
And he probably
meet-
would have been annoyed with me.
Oh my god!
I was 12.
I feel like people will find each other again. You hear those stories all the time,
Yeah.
right? If it's wrong person, right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
That right person will come back around.
I think it's
somehow.
called a stalker, David.
Yeah. I don't know. I
From
think about
experience,
all-
Matt. Oh my god!
You tell me. Do you believe in settling for someone?
Why should you view it as settling? I feel like that's not like a good way and not fair to the other person
Yeah, can
that
you
you're
imagine?
entering the
Yeah.
relationship
I
with.
feel like
Because there's arranged marriages
he's not as
too.
hot as my
Like
last
that's
boyfriend,
like
and you're like settling. For
that. If somebody said that or I thought that, like, no, that's tough.
That's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Like he's not as hot as my my last boyfriend.
Yeah, and like to say again, those feelings don't go away, and to like hold
Or
that with
what
you
if your
forever.
friends think you're settling?
I think it's tough. Like I think in some cases, if you cherish the communication between your friends, for example, like they are looking out for your best interest in some cases. Like if you're let's just say like you take a poll of your friends and all 10 of your friends say like he's not a good guy.
Okay, I
they're
can see
like,
that.
you know, what's wrong? What are you talking about? I would definitely, if I was one of those 10 and it was your wedding day, I would definitely be trying to stop it.
You would?
Yeah,
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
I don't believe you.
I would be like, hey,
Then that friend's going to hate you forever.
I'm going to give you.
But I guess when you say settling, I guess it wasn't. I thought we were talking more like surface level. But if it's like a bad relationship and your friends are 10 of your friends.
Surface level, yes, I can see that.
Yes.
But if it's like deep rooted, like what you're talking about, manipulating and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you think your
So if
friends
you
would be at
don't
that
like-
altar going like, girl, like,
Don't do it.
please, like, you know, like I wouldn't do
So
it.
that's when you would tell your friend that you hated their
It wouldn't be
sister
at
the
the
wedding
altar.
day.
Hopefully
I mean, it
sooner.
wouldn't- yeah, it
before
wouldn't
they
be
paid
at
for
the
everything.
altar, but
I
had
feel
to
like you
take it
can't
there.
say anything. I feel like you can't say. They got to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to you. And then the
I
more you
agree.
say no, they're going to cut you out of their life.
Well, here's the
"Bye, bitch,
thing.
then you don't
I
like me."
absolutely agree with you
It
on
depends
that.
how much you care about that
I
person.
absolutely agree with that. I also feel that you can give 2
If
cents.
it's a very
You can
close
go like,
friend.
hey,
Like,
so
Hey.
here's some things that you should just be, you know, are you sure? You know, like that. I would have that conversation. I wouldn't.
But if it's someone that they're like super close with, because I would do that for very close friends if I thought that their relationship wasn't great. But I have also had friends that I'm not like super deep with on that level where I feel comfortable getting between
what's
them
the
and
temperature
their
check? Yeah, what is the temperature check? Like I've had, let me just tell this. Like I had a friend who was in love with her partner moving to NorCal, right? From here, SoCal to NorCal. And he came down and everybody thought he was shady. I never knew who he was, but I was just like, yeah, he doesn't seem like the best guy, but whatever. Like she's happy. And then I saw him get a blowjob from someone and I was like,
You saw?
yeah, I actually saw it. I actually saw it. So I went to tell her thinking that we're really good friends. And I was like, the next day I was like, yo, like he was definitely getting a blowjob like from somebody else. And I don't know if you're in an open relationship, nor is it my business, but I assume that you guys are in a monogamous relationship. She's like, there's no way that happened. I'm like, yes, it was happening. You know, it was happening. And then and with someone we know, you know? And so
Oh my god.
And she never talked to you ever again.
yeah, she cut me out.
Really?
She ended up
Yeah.
living with him.
Knew that was
cut
going
me
to
out.
happen.
Yeah, see?
Wow.
But there's those instances, right? But
Yeah.
that's, I look back and those
Whoa.
temperature checks are very much what you were saying. It's like how I learned as a young person at the time, like I can never do that ever again with somebody that I'm not at a 10 with.
That just sucks though, because it wasn't like you were like, you should break up. You were just like, hey, I'm just like flagging this, like
Yeah,
just so you know.
I'm just giving you the
Like-
fact
Giving you
that,
the information.
yeah, you can do with whatever you
You
want
should
with
have
it.
sent an
And then
anonymous
she obviously,
email.
I should.
An anonymous letter.
I could just see myself running by her, just like dropping it off. Like, I don't know.
How would you even get? I'm just imagining you on someone's ring camera.
Listen, the 2010s were weird.
Yeah.
What do you miss about being single?
Oh yeah.
Maggie, because you're married. And you're
Because
married
I'm
too,
married.
technically.
I mean, David is his first dates, obviously.
He's first dates.
Oh my God. No, I love it. No, answer the question and nothing about me.
What do I miss about being single? Come back to me, because I don't know. I feel like I was a lot younger when I was single, and like I don't wish that I was younger, but I liked
That time of life.
that time of life for what it was. Because now my highs are higher, and I'm with a person that I love and I want to be with forever. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Being single is kind of like you can do what you want whenever you want, however you want, for as long as you want. No.
Yeah.
And then not that you can't do whatever you want when you are in a relationship, but you have the extra layer in the thought process now.
Yeah.
Now you got
Right.
Eugene in your
Yeah.
ear being like, where are you? Where are you?
Right.
Pay attention to me.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Exactly.
Hello. Want to FaceTime?
Right. Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that. Both of what you said. Like, it is
Yours is you missed the first dates.
I mean,
First date, David.
no, but Hector and I always have first dates together. It's 50 first dates. No, I do agree with that. I'm sure that everybody agrees who's in long-term relationships, like the fact that you can just be carefree, like, you know, do something without, oh, I have consequences because I just did, you know.
When
I
you're
have
saying
somebody
like
that's-
doing something, is this like hooking up with somebody, or is this like just
no, not to
like-
that extent, but just
It's
like drinking all night. Oh, I have to text
Or like
and check in.
I already
like,
hung out with my
oh,
friends
yeah.
like 3 times this week. I should probably spend time with my partner instead of,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Or
I
like,
see,
don't you miss like just like getting a text message like, come out now, let's go. And then
Yeah.
you have to check in with like, well, what are we doing tonight? You know, like
yeah.
that kind of feeling. That's what I miss too. Like,
Oh yeah.
not that I regret it, because what you said, like I love like my partner. You know, I love doing all that, but I do miss.
Yeah, there are good
do it.
things.
Matt knows, like I just did whatever I wanted, whatever I want.
You travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent the night at Matt's house, like almost like, what is it, five out of 7 days? I'm like, hi. They would call their extra room my room. Like
Our guest room.
your room's ready.
David's room.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fun. Like having movie nights till like 3 a.m. or like just drinking, you know.
Yeah.
But you have commitments, and I love that part.
Yeah.
But that means I'm ready, right? Or we're ready.
yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we could have talked more.
I know. There's so much. so
Wow.
many rocks unturned.
I know.
We'll have you back, David.
Chapter
We'll have to have you
2,
back.
chapter 3.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of You Can Sit With Us. Next week, we round out our series, our 4th episode on sex in August, with a very special guest, a medical doctor who is an expert in sexual health, to tell us all the in and outs, the outs and the ins, everything that you want to know. So until next time, remember to pee after sex, be nice to your servers, wear masks, get vaccinated, register to vote, and subscribe. Until next time, bye.
Bye.